Hi guys, this is Chris Natton, epigenetics coach, and today I want to talk about high performance. And you see that terminology being thrown out there in different places. You see it in books, you see it in podcasts, you see it in product sellers or marketers, distributors. You see it in coaches, you see it all over the place, and I want to really nail down what that means so that maybe you can identify it. Maybe you have been setting yourself apart from this high performance category just because of your perception and your take on what a high performing person is or could be. And so today I really want to bring clarity to that, and maybe you can resonate or identify with being a high performer a little bit more than you have in the past. I know that I have. And so just to think about it from a close perspective is, what do you think about when you hear the term high performance or a high performing individual? For me, what I think about a professional athlete. Like, athletes are the first thing that I think about. I think about NFL stars, I think about Olympic athletes, I think about weightlifters and CrossFit professionals, volleyball players, professional snowboarders. I think about these people because they are such at a high level and they compete with the best people in the world, and they excel in those situations, and that's when they rise above and they actually perform better. And so to me, that's what a high performer is. Another example of what a high performing individual may be is an executive of a Fortune 500 company. Someone who is under extreme pressures, financial, whether it's through the media or financial pressures. Like, they have pressure to perform and to do well, to bring profit to their company, to drive their business, to escalate and to grow. And that's another thing that I think. But the third thing I think about is really like car racing, like just that in general. Like, not necessarily it could be the actual driver, or it could be the car itself, but the whole concept of just like pushing as fast as you possibly can go and pushing the limits on the mechanics of that machine and on the mechanics of the person driving the vehicle, to like the maintenance, the pit crew, all involved in that process. Like, everything is specifically calculated for like every like tiny millimeter of a second, if that's even a thing. So that's kind of what I think about when I think about high performance. Now, how does that relate to you, and how does that relate to me? How does it relate to those who are not necessarily at that level on a professional scale, right? Like, we all are professionals. Some of us are parents, some of us are just friends, some of us are caretakers, neighbors, some of us are dog owners. We all have a responsibility, and we have other parts of our life other than our professional. And so I see in this modern era of high performance that we're only relating it to this one facet of life, being our profession. Now, like, to me, that's not the answer, and that's not what high performance is. Like, you can be really on it as a professional, but then 5 o'clock hits, you turn it off, you go get a drink, you slip up, you don't care so much, you get lazy, you eat crappy food, like, whatever. Like, you're not performing at a high level on these other areas of life. And so that's kind of what I think takes the term high performance and expands it, right? Like, all this high performance stuff is devoted specific to certain categories, whether it be health, whether it be sports and fitness, or whether it be business, but life doesn't work that way. We need to transcend the same skills that we cultivate as a business professional and take it into our home life. We need to then bring it into our exercise and our physical activity. And then we got to bring it into just our overall stress response. We've got to bring it all, our health and nutrition. I guess that's what I was looking for up here. And so once we're able to transcend and hit all of those categories of life, I think then we're a true performer or high performer. And I think that's what my goal is as a coach, is to really embrace that idea that you can be a high performer without being a professional athlete. For instance, if you can optimize what you do as a mom or a dad or as a dog owner, for instance, optimize that way of life while at the same time optimizing your relationships, your food habits, your dietary habits, your exercise habits, and then your professional capabilities and effectiveness, right? So if we can moderate our stress, if we can, manage these different pieces in these different areas of life to the same degree, then I think we can call ourselves a high performer. And actually, you're probably a much better person in society than just that person who's extremely high in just that one facet, like snowboarding, for instance. And so that's what I see as the goal of a high performer, is somebody who can take the skills and tools that they use in one area of life and transcend it into others, so that there's no boundaries, there's no borders. We can simply navigate from one area of life into another and be just as effective across the board. And I think the way to do that is to understand our physiology, our body, how our body responds, what's in our bodies, what's deficient in our bodies, what type of movement we need to happen. Physiology. There's also the mindset. Where's our mindset? What are we thinking about most of the time, and how are we thinking? And then lastly would be the actual physical component of our body, meaning movement and exercise, and then also dietary intake, the nutrients that we are taking in. I think all of these different areas are important to understand where we are and where we need to be, so that we can perform better in all of these areas of life. Because once we have them down in one, as long as we don't want the burnout schedule and the burnout routine, we figure out a way to master one, but transcending into all the others. And that to me is high performance. And so I hope that gives you some clarity on what high performance is. When I say what I do as a high performance coach for personal optimization, that's what I mean. I mean being able to master physiology, mindset, and intake, so that we can perform better in all these areas of life and transcend skills into different scenarios, different environments. I mean, we have to be able to adapt to different environments, just as athletes need to adapt to different situations. So that's the training that I do, and I hope that brings you some clarity on high performance. And please comment below, explain maybe some examples of what you see as being high performance, or some areas where you might need refinement, or what you're doing, some new refinements that you've done that can help somebody else on this thread. I'd really appreciate it. Please share this video, because high performance is not just for athletes. It's not just for executives and CEOs. This is for everybody. And this is for everybody who cares, has consciousness, and wants to be a better presence in the world. I know I want to be a better presence in the world, and I'm sure you do too. And this is one way to achieve that, is just by understanding this concept that we all can attain a level of high performance by mastering these systems and being able to transcend our skills into different areas of life. It's important, y'all. Thanks a lot. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.